todos, aquí mi yo grande comentando. Y bueno, lo dejamos aquí en el otro. Y nos ponía: eres el este, el hijo de un poderoso tal. Que iba a ser el señor de aguas fuentes tras la rebelión. Tras la rebelión de Robert, te exiliaste a las ciudades libres, hallando refugio en la religión de Rolor, el dios de la luz y del amor. Ahora eres un sacerdote rojo en el templo de Bravos y has decidido consagrar tu vida a tu religión y tu dios. Tu antiguo tutor se puso en contacto contigo. Asistí al funeral, te ha dado alcance y ahora tienes que presentarte ante aquellos que abandonaste hace 15 años, vale. ¿Y qué me pongo? Danzarín del agua, mercenario. Quiero... Venga, me voy a hacer danzarín del agua. Fuerza, supongo que tendré que tener más agilidad. Se me va a fuerza, no. Ahí. Intensidad. Aquí que tengo. Vale, ahora. Represalia. Y vale, estas dos. Siguiente. Supongo que usaré espadas también en este. Proyectiles embotados, que tengo bonus. Y armadura ligera, venga. Y aquí, ¿qué me pongo? Venga, me voy a poner lo contrario. Bien. Sí, yo creo, es que no estaba mal lo que me puse. Me puse acróbata y superdotado, ¿no? Luego torpe y fobia a la sangre. Esmirreado. Sí, ha acabado todavía. Bueno, vale. Lo que voy a hacer es dejarlo aquí, porque esto está grabado justo a continuación del último capítulo. Pero ahora lo que vosotros veréis será la siguiente parte. Hola a todos, aquí mi yo grande. Y bueno, lo dejamos aquí. Bueno, lo veréis a continuación, porque tuvimos que hacer un pequeño corte. Y bueno, es el sacerdote rojo. A ver qué nos toca hacer.
The town is dying, and the death of Lord Sarwick changes nothing. Who will help us?
Vale, pero puedo comprar cosas aquí.
With things as they are,
Okay.
what choice do we have?
If things are so bad, what do you propose to do?
It's been too hard for too long. It's time to revolt. We must take matters into our own hands. We'll take up arms.
If you follow that path, the army will have no choice but to fight against you. Do you want this to end in blood and tears?
You don't know what you're talking about, stranger. The house is dying. The army of River Spring is but a shadow of what it was. You obviously know nothing of the misery we suffer here.
That may be, but I do know that violence is answered with more violence. This path never ends well.
We're already suffering. What is it to us if we die of hunger or by a sword?
What has happened here? These lands were once thriving.
It's the Lords. It's been too long since they cared about what happens in their own lands. Neighboring lords have taken the chance to grab some of our land, and nothing is done to stop it. And now that Lord Sarwick is dead, it will only get worse. We must do something.
But there are still Sarwicks in River Spring.
Don't make me laugh. The eldest fled years ago. As for the others, they're no better than he. Anyway, this concerns only the people of River Spring, stranger.
So be it. I pray that your choices will not lead you to reckless acts. May R'hllor light your path through the shadows.
Vale. Bueno, el sacerdote rojo es de una religión distinta que no tiene nada que ver con los dioses nuevos ni con los antiguos. O sea, solo hay un dios en la religión esta, que es el dios de la luz todopoderoso, no sé qué. Ay, estoy mal de la garganta.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not sure of the customs in the free cities nowadays, but I wouldn't dream of entering Westerer's arm like that. And yet, as the smith labours day and night for us, it so happens that I sell the finest weapons. Blunt, cutting, perforating. You know what they say, my lord. Don't buy your blade until you know what you plan to stick it into.
Tell me more about cutting weapons.
The most popular. I know of no weapon passed down through families that is not a sword, my lord, and there are good reasons for that. Cutting weapons are especially designed to fight against light armor such as leather, and even the skin underneath. Do you need more information?
No, bueno, las punzantes son para cota de malla y las contundentes para... Y las contundentes para armaduras de placas. Que me he leído las instrucciones. Bueno, ahí lo ponen otra vez y lo pusieron en el capítulo anterior también. Aquí monedas, pues qué bien. Aquí tenía que llegar.
Halt, priest. This town is in mourning. Access to the castle is closed during the ceremony.
I'm actually here to attend Lord Sarwick's burial.
I'm afraid that's not possible. I'm under strict orders to only allow entry to close kin. With the villagers' current grumblings, we don't want to risk problems.
I am Lord Reynald Sarwick's eldest son, and I am here to attend my father's funeral.
His eldest son? Do you take me for a fool? I have been at my post for more than 5 years, and I have never once seen your face.
It has been more than 5 years since I left River Spring. Please call on Mr. Harwin. He knows of my arrival.
Well, we'll see about that, but I doubt he'll come here for you. The ceremony's about to start. John, go find Maester Harwin.
What is going on here? Why has John gone for the Maester?
Ryman, it's me, Alistair.
Several hells! Alistair? Graydon, I told you only family. That excludes peasants, dogs and cravens who abandon their families.
You blame me for leaving. This is not the time for anger. I've come to bury my father, Ryman, not to fight with you. In honor of the past, allow me to go and pay him my respects.
Very well. You may go. Out of respect for your father.
Alistair, I knew you would come.
Maester Harwin, it's a pleasure to see you again.
The pleasure is shared. 7 gods, you have changed so much. 15 years. I had help from my contacts in Bravos to inform you of your father's death. The funeral will be in the Godswood. The ceremony has already begun.
Why is it not held at the Sept?
It would be if it were not in ruins. River Spring is suffering on all fronts, I fear. Let us go now. Come with me, Alistair. Let us speak as we walk.
What happened here, Maester? How could my father allow things to get to this point?
You know, after you left, Lord Reynold changed. He began to live more and more in the past, and stopped taking care of his duties. Your sister quickly found herself managing more than she should have.
Eliana helped my father govern?
Well, these last few months, she's practically run the house herself. In spite of her efforts, she was unable to slow the inevitable ruin of her lands without a lord. But all is not so dark. Many of your father's vassals remain faithful to their oath. They have all come to the burial in order to honor his memory. We will speak of all this again after the ceremony. Let us make haste, I beg of you.
Vamos allá. Más vale mofarse del juego que jugar y perder. Jenna Lannister. Pues eso no me suena de los libros. Vamos, a lo mejor sale más adelante.
Hello, Red Priest. I am Lady Eliana Sarwick, daughter of the late Lord Sarwick. You are just in time for the ceremony. Were you close to my father?
You have changed much in 15 years, little sister.
Alistair, why have you returned? We don't need you here.
Harwin told me of father's death. It was my duty to come.
15 years without any news. And he had to die for us to see you again. You would have done better to stay where you were.
I do not doubt that my departure was difficult for you.
Difficult? To say the least. Your disappearance was our father's ruin. Do you know how long I cried after you left? And how long I hoped for news of you?
I am sorry. I left Westeros without once turning back, it's true. I understand your reaction. It must have been unbearable for you. But I had to leave. Know that I never forgot you.
That's easy for you to say. And you should know that we here learn to live very well without you.
I understand your reaction, Eliana.
I doubt it. Go pay your last respects to father. We will speak later.
May the stranger, the eternal
Bueno.
outcast, now guide you to the Father, and may he judge you fairly and deliver you from the torments of the seven hells. Your
Who is that man? I believe that is the elder Sarwick, the one who disappeared. He has certainly changed, but I recognize him.
¿Qué hace? ¿Qué? Ay. ¿Qué coño ha hecho?
How could you desecrate our father's body that way?
I desecrated nothing. I performed the final kiss, the tribute that priests of R'hllor pay to the dead.
You may be a Red Priest, but you should respect the beliefs of Riverspring.
I did not intend to be disrespectful, little sister.
Do not think that it is easy for me to speak with you after all this time.
Please, Eliana, listen. I left Westeros without a goodbye, and you have every reason to be angry with me. 15 years ago, the war that King Robert Baratheon fought to claim the throne forced me to commit deeds which haunt me still. The very idea of returning to you was too painful. I did the only thing left for me to do. I left and began a new life elsewhere. Not long ago, I received a letter from Maester Harwin telling of Father's death. I could no longer hide myself. It was time to confront my past. What I regret the most, Ilyana, is that by fleeing to the other side of the waters, it is you whom I wounded.
All these years, I have thrown a veil over your memory. And you return at the moment when everything is in turmoil. I must be alone for the moment. I will see you later, Alistair.
Take your time, little sister. I understand.
Alistair, Maester Arwen would like to speak with you. He awaits you in the castle courtyard. And if I may add, you should be ashamed of that kiss during the ceremony.
My thanks, Ravella. I shall go and see him.
Me da la sensación de que este corre más que el otro. Por aquí, ¿no? A ver, espera, que hay por aquí. Vamos a explorar un poco. Túneles bajo aguas fuentes. Vaya.
I am not sure there is more to discuss between us, Alistair. I am sincerely sorry for your loss. You know how much your father meant to me. Unless you are truly ready to listen to me, it would be best that you leave.
I knew you to be less ardent, Ravella.
And I knew you to be more respectful. This ceremony was held under the watch of the Seven, and your shameful act did nothing but needlessly shock and disgust decent people.
I am sorry, Scepter. From now on, the rights of the Seven no longer concern me. I have chosen another path. Can you not see that you and all the lost souls of Westeros worship different rays of the same light? Your entire pantheon, your 7 gods. Do you not feel that they are just pieces of one whole, of something much bigger?
If you would listen to my lessons, you would know that for the sages, the 7 are but one. But in order to understand that, one must understand the full scope of their teachings. Perhaps it would be better to worship a simple wood fire like other red priests do. It's always easier to worship that which burns brightly.
The flame brings light and warmth. It is the source of life.
No doubt other creatures share your beliefs. Like those whores, for example. I've seen one of your kind in action. Thoros of Myr was his name. A fornicator and a drunk.
I will not allow you to speak to me in this manner, Ravella. I respect your faith, and you will respect mine.
Forgive me, my lord. I forgot my place.
Your fervor does you credit, Ravella. You raised me, as you raised my brother and sister. But I cannot allow one of my subjects to show me disrespect. Do you understand?
Of course. I shall be careful in the future.
I don't doubt it.
El toro de Myr, este del que hablaba... Bueno, no voy a hacer spoiler. Porque todavía no ha llegado a lo de... en la serie. A cuando sale. Así que mejor me callo. Aquí hay algo. Estoy intentando explorar un poco más. Mayordomo de aguas fuentes. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué hay ahí? No sé qué coño he cogido. Luego lo veo.
Ah, Alistair. There you are. Please leave us. So, you're not too unsettled by the situation here?
What I saw of the town upon my arrival was enough. It is a disaster. The people cannot go on like this. I have heard tell that neighboring lords have taken our people's lands.
Indeed. The poverty has worsened over the years. When neighboring lords became aware of your father's situation, they took advantage of the opportunity.
But they have no right to do so. Our lieges, the Lannisters, should have been notified.
Indeed. But our relations with them have suffered since your father held Tywin Lannister responsible for your departure. It was after his death that your sister decided to reopen talks by going to see the most influential member of their family. That is why she requested an audience with Queen Cersei Lannister at the Red Keep. It was made very clear Our lieges will act once our land has a new master. So your sister worked towards this end. River Spring has belonged to House Sarwick for generations. Ilyana has refused to marry a lord from any other house. So, the Queen has chosen a man for your sister.
Who is it?
Valar, your father's bastard son, your half-brother.
Valar? I left Westeros hoping never to hear that name again. It is out of the question for my sister to marry him. He shares our blood. How can the Queen condone a marriage which goes against nature?
You realize that if Ilyana were to wed another lord, she would take her husband's name. Being a bastard, Valar has no family name. It was the only solution to keep River Spring for House Sarwick.
Why choose Valar for a suitor? What does the Queen want?
From what I heard while accompanying your sister to King's Landing for her audience at court, Valar distinguished himself through his exploits. I know that the Queen enjoys surrounding herself with strong, devoted men. That is the case for Valar. By giving him this gift, she ensures his loyalty and increases her power.
But Valar was just a squire when he went off to war with me. It would take more than that to be a suitor worthy of our name.
Seeing him return alone from the war, your father blamed him for your disappearance. No matter how much Valar claimed to work for the prosperity of House Sarwick, your father wouldn't hear any of it. He cursed him and chased him away from River Spring for good. Your half-brother was mad with rage and left seeking vengeance. Apparently, he spent several years at the Citadel, using education to compensate for his low birth.
A maester cannot become a lord.
He never became maester, but stopped at the rank of acolyte. He learned the art of war, studied the higher mysteries, and forged links. He was then thrown out of the Citadel several years later for studying the forbidden arts. He's been a sellsword ever since. His reputation spread quickly, and royal ears heard of him. In 2 years, he went from simple soldier to the Queen's Guard. He moves in the shadows. The nobles of the court fear him.
Valar. He has taken too much from me already. I cannot just stand by while he marries my sister.
There is something else of which we should speak. I would have liked to spare you this. I do not believe that your father's death was an accident. There are certain indications that lead me to believe that he was poisoned.
Are you sure?
Believe me, Alistair, I know this subject. The Strangler is a difficult poison to detect, but it leaves certain traces that cannot be caused by anything else.
Joder, aquí todos los que mueren son envenenados.
Did father have any ongoing conflicts which could have prompted someone to murder him?
I am not certain, but there are rumors of a possible culprit.
Tell me who it is.
This may overwhelm you, but the rumors say that it is your younger brother, Garwin.
Garwin? He was but a child when I left.
He and Lord Reynold had some serious quarrels, and he disappeared on the very night of your father's death. We've had no news of him since.
Why? Why would he have done such a thing?
Maester Harwin, the people are rebelling. Rioting has broken out throughout the town.
With all of this festering discontent, it was only a matter of time before this happened.
Tell me, does the River Spring Guard have the situation under control?
For now, they are securing the entrances to the castle. Barricades protect us from a direct attack. But the streets are inaccessible to us. We have too few men. The guard is overwhelmed.
Who is behind this revolt?
I think I know who leads them. I crossed paths with a certain Tyrek when arriving, a rabble-rouser, telling the people to take up arms.
Tyrek? I heard some guards say that he was getting people worked up in the marketplace.
How did things get this far out of hand?
Well, the lords left the castle after the burial, with their fine clothes and all, whereas the villagers are starving. All of this flaunted wealth must have pushed them too far. Everything erupted. The villagers began to attack the lords, taking them hostage.
You said that the revolt is being led from the main square. We must go there immediately.
Captain Ryman says that it's impossible. Our men are barely managing to keep them at bay at the castle doors. There are not enough of us to attempt an escape.
Where is Captain Ryman?
He is at the doors. He's the one that ordered the barricades.
7 hells! If Ryman deals with it, the revolt will end in flames and bloodshed.
Riverspring has already suffered too much. I must join Ryman. Riverspring needs me. I will not watch our land fall into ruins without acting.
Very well, but I beg you to be careful. You are a Sarwick. Act as a liege, Lord Alster, and know that your acts will have consequences.
I will do what must be done.
I am sure you will.
Vale, vamos allá. Ve a Rayman para evaluar los daños. Ah, Rayman. Como el Rayman clásico. Venga, a ver si ya se pone un poco entretenido esto. Mira, la frase esa sí que sale. La de abajo, mi punto débil son los tullidos, los bastardos y las cosas rotas. Vamos, sí que la he visto yo. No, hablar más,
Well,
no.
well, look who's here. Dear Alistair. What have you come for, my good cousin?
I hope you're thinking more clearly than you were earlier.
I have no lessons to learn from a coward.
Let's not start that again. Ryman, I did not come here to fight with you. What can you tell me of the situation here?
We've almost regained control of the southern part of town. My soldiers are about to clean it out. But in the marketplace, there are still skirmishes between rioters and people loyal to our cause. Nobles who came for the ceremony are still being held hostage by rebels on the docks in the northern part of town.
Very well. Let's go, Ryman. I want to see this for myself.
Really? His lordship would like to see this for himself? Well, then, I'd be happy to accompany you to see this. I cannot wait to see you reason with this gang of peasants. I hope that blade at your belt is not just for decoration. Here, take my flask. You might need it.
Vale, vamos allá.
Open this damn gate! We'll die of hunger! Have the gate opened, or we'll set fire to your cursed castle!
Calm down. There is no point in going to such extremes. I am aware that things are not going well here, but burning down the castle won't make things any better.
So, what do you suggest? We are starving!
As the son of the late Lord Sarwick, I will ensure that the castle's food reserves are distributed as soon as order has been returned.
The Sarwick's personal supplies? That just might do. Come along, men! Let's go home!
Vale. Entonces hemos dicho que vamos a repartir la comida del castillo. Por aquí, porque sale un punto verde. Ah, no, es el tío este que me acompaña. Pues vamos por aquí. Mismamente.
Ah, there you are, Captain. We were about to execute these men. They must learn who's in charge here.
These people must have committed serious crimes if they are to be executed.
They were amongst the rioters. They must be guilty of something.
If you execute people without reason, the situation will only grow worse. Allow me some time to question them.
What shall we do, Captain?
These vermin don't deserve such kind treatment. But fine. Let's see what my cousin is made of.
Bueno.
Tell us why you're here, friend.
They started it. We just came to ask for something to eat.
Shut your mouth, scum! You killed one of our men in the port, and you will pay for that!
What is this man being accused of?
My lord, this man was seen in the port, where the rioting broke out.
And you suspect that he is responsible for this unrest?
One of our guards was killed in front of the storehouse. Someone must pay for that.
This guard claims to have seen you at the port storehouse.
I was there with the others to demand food, my lord. But I'd already left when that guard got an axe through the head.
Venga, dejadlo.
Let him go.
Very well.
A ver este.
This man was found near the dying body of one of our men. Look at him. He's pissed himself. You don't need more proof than that.
This man apparently killed a guard.
Everything leads us to believe it, my lord. We found him carrying an enormous knife.
What were you doing carrying a knife?
Well, because I'm an apprentice to the butcher in the marketplace, my lord. I use the blade in my work, nothing more.
Did you find him with the blade in his hand?
No, we found it in his pouch, but the blade was caked with dried blood.
Dried blood, you say? The blood would still be sticky and fresh if it belonged to our man. Let this man go immediately.
Very well, my lord.
Yo lo veo lógico.
You're finally to die, you piece of shit.
I've nothing to do with all this. My lot kept out of it from the start.
I don't give a damn. You've been a pain in our arses for far too long.
What were you doing during the rioting?
I live in the inn overlooking the port with some friends. We haven't set foot outside since the revolt started. A group of armed guards arrived and dragged me off in the middle of a game of cards. So, that is River Spring justice, huh? Quick executions without reason?
For what crime do you wish to punish this man?
He belongs to an organized gang currently ruling over the port.
They hold the merchants to ransom. They all pay with coin or their lives.
We have good relations with the merchants on the port. They appreciate our protection.
Protection? Don't make me laugh. We finally have the chance to get our hands on him. River Spring will be better off without him.
Send him to the dungeons. The situation in town is too dire to let him roam freely.
Our friend already knows the way.
You're making a grave error, my lord.
You'll pay for what you did, whore.
I wish you had been in your squalid house as it burned.
If you set his house on fire, you do realize that a lord can cut off your hands for far less than that.
Oh, please, don't cut off my hands, my lord. Your guard there. He took advantage of the rioting to violate my little sister. I found her in tears, unable to speak.
You can't call that rape. The girl didn't even put up a fight.
I'll get you and make you eat your own shit.
A fire started during the rioting, the rape of a young defenseless girl. You will both go to the dungeons of River Spring.
Are you done, my lord?
Yes, but no one is to take such decisions in the future without telling me first. Try to at least hear what they have to say before passing sentence. Is that understood?
Yes, my lord.
So that is how you plan to quiet the rioting, by getting the townsfolk to side with you?
Bueno, yo creo que es que ya se está haciendo muy largo esto. No ha habido nada de acción. Pero bueno, eso sabes lo que significa. Que en el próximo habrá mucha sangre. O eso espero. Adiós. Hasta el próximo vídeo.